Okay, now we have the last stage of the story. The king accuses Creon and demands that Creon should be executed. And his wife comes to console him that the prophecies announced by oracle cannot be true. Because you see, how can Oedipus be responsible for the murder of King Laius? He cannot be the murderer of King Laius as asserted by Tiresias. Because to prove it that the prophecies are always baseless, Jocasta cites her own example. She says that she was also once prophesied that her son will marry herself. His son will marry his own mother and will murder his own father. But now Jocasta says that I am married to you, you are not my son, because my son was killed so many years back. So second point, and Laius is killed by not you but by someone else at a crossroad. So the as soon as Jocasta mentions the word crossroad, then as soon as she mentions the word crossroad, Oedipus was alert. Crossroad, how your husband was killed? He asks for clarification. Then Jocasta says that so many persons were killed by a stranger at a crossroad. Then she describes how her husband was. And now King Oedipus had the promotion that he also killed so many persons at a crossroad. He worried if one of them turned out to be his father. This means his first prophecy that he has murdered his own father will come true. Now he is in a dilemma. Then Oedipus decides to narrate his own life. What circumstances brought Oedipus to the kingdom of Thebes? So he gives an anecdote, a small story based on his life. He says that once he was in a conversation with a drunken man. So this drunken man, he has no role, just narrates a story. This drunken man accused Oedipus of not being the biological son of his present parents. This means that this drunken man accused King Oedipus of not being the son of Polybus and Merope. Okay. Then he had a suspicion, and during this time he did not he was in Corinth, brought up by Polybus and Merope. Then to clear his doubt, King Oedipus went to oracle. The oracle prophesies that one day King Oedipus will kill his own father and marry his own mother. Oedipus had the doubt that as Polybus and Merope are his biological parents, so how can he kill Polybus? If the prophecies comes true, then he is likely to murder Polybus and marry his own mother Merope. So to get rid of that prophecy, he left Corinth and moved towards the nearest kingdom, Thebes. And while entering Thebes, he came across so many travelers who indulged in a debate and killed many of them, including the king. He does not know. Then in the attack, there is one surviving witness, and Oedipus knew him well. To clear his doubt, Oedipus decides to call in the surviving witness because he can describe who killed King Laius, because he knows both King Laius and King Oedipus, because he was the only surviving member of the attack. So now King Oedipus decides to bring this messenger who is actually a shepherd. He can describe who killed by whom. So this is one stage of the story. At this very moment, a new character is introduced. He is nameless. He is called messenger. A new messenger, not that messenger. A messenger from the kingdom of Corinth comes to meet the present king Oedipus. And the messenger brings the news that Oedipus's father Polybus has died. So it's the duty of King Oedipus to ascend the throne of his father, because his mother is left alone. Then Oedipus says that no, I can't go back to the kingdom of Corinth, because if I go to the kingdom of Corinth, I may kill my own father and marry my own mother, Merope. So up to that point, Oedipus is very happy, because as Polybus is dead, he does not have the fear that he cannot kill his own father, because he does not know that Laius is his own father. He feels that his adopted father is Polybus, is his biological father. As he dies, the prophecy proves itself to be wrong. But now second prophecy is left. If he marries his own mother, if he goes to the kingdom of Corinth, he may marry his own mother. So second prophecies may come true. So he now decides not to return to the kingdom of Corinth. He makes it clear to the messenger that he cannot go back. He is happy with his own wife Jocasta in the kingdom of Thebes. Then the messenger says that no, you prince, you should go back to your own kingdom, Corinth, because even if your father is dead, your mother is alive, who is Merope. And this Merope is not actually your biological mother. Only you were adopted by Polybus and Merope. So even if you marry, suppose by coincidence you marry Merope, it will not be an incestuous relationship, because they are not your biological parents. Then Oedipus again is worried. Then if Polybus is not biological, Merope is not his biological mom, then who could be his biological mom? Jocasta is likely to be his biological son. Okay. Then the messenger who has been sent from Corinth, he also clarifies it that it is the same messenger. He is the same messenger who once, shifted a baby from the kingdom of from the kingdom of Thebes to Corinth. Orthat, this means when King Oedipus was a baby, newborn baby, he was given to the childless Polybus and Merope by himself. So he knows the full birth history of King Oedipus. So Polybus and Merope cannot be his biological parents. But he does not know who the biological parents were. This messenger only got the baby from a shepherd. Okay. Next movement of the story. Then the messenger, the only surviving eyewitness, has arrived the kingdom. Now King Oedipus asks by whom King Laius was murdered. Then this messenger informed that Laius was murdered at a crossroad by Oedipus himself, because he saw both of them. He saw Oedipus as well as King Laius. Now Oedipus is confirmed that he has murdered his own father Laius. But Jocasta is not convinced, because how do we know that King Oedipus is the biological son of Jocasta and Laius? Because there is no proof up to that point. Okay, King Oedipus kill Laius, marry Jocasta. Marriage is clear. But how can Oedipus be the biological son of Jocasta and Laius? There is no clear-cut proof. So she needed proof. Then the messenger, this means the eyewitness, informed that once he brought, so he was appointed by Laius and Jocasta, means the present wife of Oedipus, to murder a baby whose feet were fixed up with a pin. But he did not kill the baby. He shifted the baby to another shepherd or messenger. And this messenger, this means there are two messengers. One messenger was appointed to kill King Oedipus at the moment he is born. Then he shifted the baby to another shepherd of Corinth. And this another shepherd is none other but the messenger at the present time. So both of them are messengers and shepherd. Now the case is clear. Who brought the baby and who decided to bring the baby to be given to Polybius Merope. So these two messengers are playing their crucial role. One was appointed to kill the baby but did not kill it. Then he delivered the baby to the another shepherd, and another shepherd gave the baby to the childless Polybius Merope. Then somehow Jocasta was convinced that Oedipus might be her own husband. Then she examined the 2 feet of King Oedipus. So there was a small hole, swollen portion of Oedipus's feet. And now she is very clear that she has married her own husband, own father. Sorry, she has married her own son, which is completely incestuous. And now Oedipus is also quite clear. There is no doubt that he has murdered King Laius and married Jocasta, because Jocasta herself came forward to clarify it, because of the physical sign that is in the feet of King Oedipus. At this finding no way, Jocasta went to her palace bedroom and she hanged herself with the shawl. And King Oedipus, he also realized that his whole life is full of unpardonable mistakes. No one can bring him to the normal condition, and he decides not to live. He decides to have self-exile, to expiate his own sin. He decides to he demands for a sword to kill himself. But killing himself is a great sin, because committing suicide has always been against religious order of the time. So he went to the bedroom of his own wife and started crying. He saw the dead body of his wife hanging. Then he took the golden pin from the attire of his wife Jocasta and binds his 2 eyes. Then Creon came forward, and Creon says that he was also helpless during what he has to do now. Then he says that we have to decide Delphi what to do now. But King Oedipus asks for exile. He cannot remain there. To expiate his own sin, he has to go for exile. He does not want to commit suicide, to make himself suffer. He binds his 2 eyes. He lost his own eyesight, and he will go for exile. Now he will request Creon to look after the 2 daughters, Antigone and Ismene, because they themselves are also product of incestuous relationship. So their lives are also full of mistakes. They have no identity. And at the moment he thinks of cutting the womb of his own wife before her marriage, before her death, because so that no incestuous baby are born out of her womb. So in this way he goes for exile, and at this the chorus appears. So we will talk about chorus later. It's completely new to you. So that point the story comes to an end.